So about 2 weeks ago, I decided to try something new. I'm going to build a playlist network. I called this my pet project in my email newsletter the other week. And side note, if you're not on my email newsletter already, you probably should be, especially if you're watching these videos, because I am a much better writer than I am a YouTube personality. I'm not even sure if I qualify as a YouTube personality, but I do feel like I'm a pretty good writer, so I will put the link to the newsletter in the description below this video. Anyway, so I'm about 2 weeks in, and the playlist network is going pretty well to this point. There are only 2 playlists that I'm currently working on. I have plans for 10 to start, and then hopefully just upwards from there. But I've gotten somewhere between 700 and 800 followers in the first couple of weeks, and I've gotten thousands of streams. But in this video, I'm going to break down what the strategy is, how I'm actually doing it, and then what the results have been so far. So if you're interested in that and maybe in trying this for yourself, then keep watching and let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the strategy, or why we'd want to build a playlist network and what that even means. And maybe this kind of goes without saying, but the basic premise is to build a lot of playlists, to get those playlists to be popular and to have followers, so that every time you release a song, you can put the song on the playlist and get an easy source of streams. So let's say hypothetically that I'm friends with a lot of artists who are making indie folk music, like music that's generally soft, acoustic, in that genre range. If I own a bunch of playlists like Bedtime Chill, Rainy Fall Folk, Indie Christian, Chill Singer-Songwriter, and more, then every time one of my friends releases a song, I get to put it on those playlists and they get an easy source of streams. I basically function like one of those playlisting services. One of the big benefits of this is that you get to drive streams for a lot of artists at once. So in contrast to running Facebook ads directly to an artist profile, if you are growing a network of playlists, then you can have, 50, 100, 200 artists that you're representing with your playlists. And so you can drive streams for a bunch of artists. The downside of this approach compared to ads is that playlists in general across the board just tend to have lower engagement rate. So even if you're building a really great playlist, really carefully curated playlist, you're still probably going to see lower engagement metrics across the board, lower streams per listener, lower save rates, things like that, because playlist streams just tend to be more passive in nature. But let's be real, playlists are still appealing. Like, you've seen the numbers from YouGrow or Moonstrive or Indie Music Academy. Like, playlists can drive a lot of streams. And if you fully control those playlists, you get to decide what the genres are, what the artists are, and all those things. Man, it's just a pretty appealing option, right? So I probably should have been building a playlist network like 5 years ago, but in classic John fashion, I just got around to it 2 weeks ago. And so now I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to make it happen. So first bit, obviously you've got to make the playlists themselves on Spotify. So I put together a list of 10 playlist names that I thought were appealing to my general audience I was going after. And I was trying to choose playlist names that either were like good search terms, so things that people might search in the Spotify search bar, or that really conveyed a mood or a feeling or a time or a place. So it sounds pretty obvious, but if you're building a public-facing playlist, you just want it to be named something that makes sense to the general public. So you don't want it to be some inside joke or like John's Jams or something like that. And then second, you've got to make them actually good playlists. So I'll show you an example playlist, but my general rule of thumb is that I am making 80% of the songs on the playlist from like big established artists, the type of artists and songs that listeners might expect to be on a genre playlist. And then I'm saving 20% of the slots on the playlist for my friends who are less established, who the average user might not have heard of. And then in general, I'm keeping these playlists around 50 songs in length. There are definitely popular playlists that are like hundreds of songs, but I've always felt like as a user, that's kind of lame, kind of means less to me. So maybe it's just a personal thing, but I'm keeping them around 50 songs in length. So here's an example playlist, Rainy Fall Folk, that I made under my two-story melody user. Couple things. Note that it's genre specific, very clearly a fall folk playlist. And then I'm also directly asking users to follow the playlist here. I'm saying follow for regular updates, and I'm putting the type of artist they can expect to listen to on the playlist. And then you can see, like, first song is the Paper Kites. They're a pretty big band. Second song, this is one you've seen me talk about before by one of my friends. Third is Gregory Alan Isaacoff, pretty big artist. It's basically a pretty good mix of established artists and songs by my friends that would fit on this playlist, but it's heavily biased toward the established artists. So once you've built the playlist, you have to actually get followers to the playlist. And the way that I'm doing this is by running Facebook ads to the playlist. So the flow is like this. They see a video on Facebook or Instagram, usually in Reels or Stories. They click that video, it brings them to this Hyped It landing page. They click the Hyped It landing page, and it sends them to the playlist where a lot of them end up following it. So this is a conversion campaign rather than a traffic campaign, which means I'm optimizing for the people who click on this button rather than the people who click on this ad. I actually tried a traffic campaign at first, and just a lot of the clicks were junk and it wasn't translating to followers on the playlist. That's probably something wrong with how I set it up, but I'm having pretty good success with this conversion campaign, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't know why, but every time I come to Facebook Ads Manager, I lose the Vimeo record video. So you'll just have to deal without seeing my face. Sorry. But here are a couple of the results for these campaigns. I'm running these to tier 1 and tier 2 countries, and I am just doing a Spotify interest. And so I'm not doing like similar artists or genres. I'm literally just saying find people who are in these countries who like Spotify and let Facebook do the rest. And you can see this started a couple weeks ago, August 29th. I set the campaign live. And so far I'm getting clicks at 11 cents each, which if that was to a single artist, that would be pretty low. For a playlist, that's on the higher side, but I'm fine with it. And you can see it might even be a little bit lower than that because it started out at 20 cents a click. We've gotten down to 10, 11, 12. So not bad. Maybe even in the next couple weeks, it'll get a little bit lower. And then I want to show you what these ads look like. So this is one of the formats I'm going with. It's basically a song by my brother, so we have the rights to it, going underneath this name scroll of all these similar artists over top of just this stock footage video that I found on pexels.com. Oh, and at the beginning it says indie Christian folk, so it clarifies like here's the genre that it is and here's all these songs. And I'm trying to make it clear that they're clicking through to a playlist. The other ads I've got are just a screenshot of the playlist that I took on my phone. It's literally just an image, no sound or anything. And then I have this video where I kind of just flip through the cover art for a lot of the songs that are on the playlist. So you can see the one that Facebook likes the best by far is this name scroll. That's got 900 clicks at 10 cents a click. I probably should try variants of this, and maybe I will in the future. Right now, I haven't put that much time into it. And then last but not least, here's some of the results of those playlists on Spotify. So this is the second song on my indie Christian playlist. So if you go here, Garden City is number 2. It's up to 707 likes over the last couple weeks. And you can see it's just starting to rise in streams. Right now it's getting 150, 160 streams a day. And by far right now, the most popular playlist for the song is indie Christian. So that's the playlist that I'm building, and it's up to almost 500 streams, like most of that coming within the last week. So pretty good. And the cool thing about this, again, is that I'm able to drive streams for multiple artists. So here's my own personal Spotify profile, a song I put out, and you can see this over the last month has gotten 335 streams to this song too. So put that together, that's like 800 streams just for those 2 songs, and I have a bunch of other songs sprinkled throughout as well. So it's literally driving thousands of streams for multiple artists. So that's the pet project. The goal is to have like 10 plus, 20 plus, who knows how many of these playlists over time, eventually start having them rank in Spotify search results and just having them be an easy source of streams for my friends, myself, and artists I work with. This isn't something I'm ever going to like charge money for placements. I don't want to be a playlist curator. I just want to build playlists that can serve just the people that I'm connected with. So I would say if you have artists that are in a similar genre that you're friends with, maybe it's something you could all chip in. I don't know exactly how it'll work, but definitely has the capability to drive a pretty impressive amount of streams for not that much money. All right, so that's my pet project, my very, very young playlisting network. So 2 things. First of all, I just have to note this. I'm not taking submissions to these playlists at the moment. Please don't send me your song. I'm sure that it's great, but I just get overwhelmed with that stuff. So got to clarify that, because when I sent that email about the playlist network, I got a lot of people asking if I could add their song. Sorry about that. And then 2, I'm planning to document how all this goes. So maybe I'll just scrap it in a couple weeks if the results aren't great. But what I'm planning on is doing videos in the future showing how the playlists are growing and what the results have been, and basically, yeah, just showing the journey. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll try and keep the videos coming. So that's all I got for this week. If you are interested in learning more about Facebook ads in general, I'll put a link here to a video that I did on a Facebook ads campaign for an artist. And if you're interested in learning more about playlisting, I will put a link to a video where I reviewed 16 different playlisting services. So hope this stuff is helpful, and as always, wishing you good luck as you market your music.